Alright guys, so I'm back again. Welcome back to another stream. Tuesday, it's the 29th of October. We are almost finishing the month and we are going to have a busy week ahead of us still. We started already with some news in the UK, in the US. So we just noticed before that Bitcoin basically broke new all-time highs, or it's really close to break new all-time highs. You can see a little bit of now resistance in there. That's something. But aside from that, we noticed the index is moving to the upside. I like some PA that happened around the dollar index and also euro dollar and so on. So it's shaping it quite nicely for a potential reversal in here on the dollar. What's up, Sorav? Welcome back. I hope the sound is working just fine right now without much noise on the background. So in terms of news, we had the job openings and consumer confidence, especially the job openings. This is a little bit of a concern. All right, so 7.44, that's one of the lowest points, basically the lowest one since we have this move to the downside in here. We are approaching the levels where we were before COVID, all right? And this can be a concern in terms of course, unemployment, which can lead into recession, okay? At this point, it looks like that the market is almost predicting either not even a recession or a soft landing. I think the hard landing prediction has not really been on the table at this point. But unemployment is definitely data that we need to pay attention to, and that can definitely affect what the Fed is going to do towards the next interest rate decision. So this is just the first one. Tomorrow we're going to have ADP, non-farm payroll, and then on Friday we have, of course, great. And then of course on Friday we're going to have unemployment. In addition to that, you're going to have tomorrow GDP in the US, so it's going to be the first one. In regards to Q3, it's going to be interesting, predicting to be at around 3%. We'll see if that's going to be the same or not, but you're going to have also other news in Australia and also CPI in German, and yeah, many more news ahead. Then BOG on Thursday. And you're going to have also earnings seasons, especially the big tech being announced. I think today already going to be one of them, so pay attention for some volatility in US indices close to the market closing, for close to US ending. Now, looking at the charts, okay? Let's see how we can position ourselves and if you are going to predict this. Yeah, the trade I took actually it was £0, which unfortunately just got out at break even the remaining of the position. I opened last week. I was looking for £0 to move to the upside, and unfortunately didn't really got tricked. I was looking to short today the DAX. I ended up not doing it, and actually didn't really pay attention to the euro dollar at the lows because that was also a potential long. But yeah, it was £0. It was £0 actually last week. I got like 70% of the trade out, but I was looking a little bit for a potential long. I kept the trade over the weekend, and just today just got finally kind of got out at break even the remaining of the position. I'll show the trade. I mentioned that trade already last week when I took it, but yeah, that was the last one. At the beginning of this week I didn't really see anything, or yesterday I didn't see anything, and today actually I should have taken the trade on the DAX, to be honest. Unfortunately I didn't, because that was a setup that we looked for. Now, dollar index. Okay, dollar index, we mentioned that price hasn't really managed to break a low, right? Price was still respecting the lows, while on the euro dollar we actually managed to break a level of structure in here. And because of that, because dollar index didn't break the lows, or at least I was looking for price to create a new high. All right, especially because we also had this double top in here. But on the euro dollar, because we actually managed to break opposite level of structure, I was not really looking for the euro dollar to create a new low, and that's exactly what it did today. I think this can be the high for now. Price reacted nicely, finally, from a little bit more into this structure. All right, it kind of moved away a little bit from this level. wherever price was reacting before, and now a little bit deeper into this level, and from here perhaps this can be the high for now. All right, again, of course, you're going to still have plenty of news, and for this to be the high, I basically need to see these lows being broken, but I think that could be the scenario. All right, this is just a tip as well. Something that we want to look for is this break of mid-range level before price makes this big move to the upside. So this is something or a pattern that I've recognized, that usually if this is about to be a fake out, all right, instead of a breakout setup, continuation to the upside, if this move is about to be a fake out in here, usually price action just before the move up is going to break some level of structure. Sometimes it's something in the middle, all right, doesn't really need to be some extreme level. Sometimes just something in the middle, kind of it breaks, goes quickly, and then kind of it comes back into here. Sometimes it's somewhere in here, like price is creating something like this, it breaks first and then goes up and then it goes, right? Something like that also tends to happen. So pay attention to that, like the last low that kind of creates this move to the upside. Did it respect it, or did it break the next level of structure or that is next to it? And again, it doesn't really need to be an extreme, it can just be something more in the middle, and that can be actually enough. So that's something that you can pay attention to in here on the anytime you are expecting, again, this type of move as a fake out. It's just a tip, it's just something that I've realized and something that I actually start paying attention to in order to, if I actually want to look at this as a potential fake out or as a continuation in here. Now, as I mentioned as well, like the PA in here starts to, again, we go from kind of a momentum like this into now more of a shape like that, right? We are now starting to go more in a diagonal, like more in a ranging situation, which can start leading into a potential turn or some more of a deep retracement in here on the dollar index. And that's a shape that I like to see, and that's something that I'll be paying attention to. Again, we still need to see at least this lows being broken, especially this one. Right, price can still just respect this level and move to the upside, but if this level starts being broken, then there is a potential that this level in here can be the high for now. On the lower time frame, we may even have a structure somewhere around here that price can even go and react from. All right, again, price did react from a little bit of the lower edge of the zone, but it kind of left the supply left behind, which means that price can even fake out this high if it wants to potentially go back into here to look for shorts. So that's something that we can look for as well in here on the dollar index. So we'll see tomorrow if there's a continuation. I would expect that to happen. Okay, I would expect actually dollar index to continue now to move to the downside. I don't think it really needs to go there. Maybe can even leave that level behind for perhaps the NFP. I'm expecting a momentum to the downside, or some kind of momentum for price to move away from this range and kind of create something in here. So we could leave something in there for the future, and price tomorrow could actually start creating some kind of momentum and move a little bit away from here. Then potentially on Thursday we could kind of retrace a little bit back, and then on Friday around the NFP we may be getting closer into this level. We'll see what's going to happen. If this is about to be the high, that could play out in here. So we'll see what's going to happen in here on the dollar index, but I do like it. I do like it level, something to bear in mind, and we definitely need these lows to be broken before price potentially goes into there again. Look for a short. So that would be my take in here. Again, if you do have good news tomorrow, maybe the pound's going to make a good move. We'll see if the ADP non-farm payrolls are going to be as expected, especially with the GDP. If there's any kind of unexpected surprise or negative surprise in terms of the number that is going to be released, then can have a move to the downside on the dollar. Looking at the S&P, it's still within the same range. Basically, it filled the gap, right? There was still that gap in there, and price just filled it, right? Price managed to fill the gap that was created over the weekend, and now price is moving to the upside. Again, we need to, it's quite similar in terms of the, not similar, but in terms of the shape that you're looking now, it's more of a ranging move, which can lead into weakness, all right? So we moved away from this momentum now into more of a range, kind of starting to be exactly the same thing. We did manage to break that low Now we can definitely still fake out the highs, but we're okay with that. We keep now respecting these lows in here, so that's something that we need to bear in mind. We do have a big accumulation of highs in here, and price still has that extra level in there. So yes, as I mentioned, these levels in here are basically a few zones that I'm expecting price to react from. This one's already reacted from it. So yeah, these green marks in here that I draw, it's basically levels that I'm expecting price to react from in there. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen in here on the S&P, if we're going to be challenging the highs. And if we take the highs, I'm not going to be expecting straight away just a momentum. I'm going to be paying attention if there's just a fake out in here, especially with that low as well in there. What else do we have? Nasdaq. Like Nasdaq is challenging the high, so it's finally taking that small zone in here, and we are getting closer to that level. Because it's an all-time high, and again, I did mention that price in here at these lows, right? When price made the move to the downside, it respected perfectly this low. There was no engulf to the downside, and because of that, if you recall what I mentioned, I think it was last Sunday or already two weeks ago, because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if we do have a new all-time high being created in here, because there's no engulf in the bigger picture, like this is basically the bigger picture in here. There is no break to the downside, which means that there's a high probability that actually we are going to have new highs, unless price eventually creates some kind of a double top. But even though it can still create a small zone that looks like a double top, but with a fake out in there. So yes, the likelihood perhaps is actually to see price moving and breaking new all-time highs. Price did manage to respect this demand zone in here, so that's something that was okay. Yes, we do have a few zones in here, a few lows being broken. Again, price in this case reacted from that zone. I was looking a little bit deeper, so to be okay. So we'll see how Nasdaq is going to react around this level, and if we're going to have new highs or not being created in here. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure which company is going to announce today, but they're expecting maybe more volatility as well in today's trading session in the indices. I don't know if it's Meta or Microsoft announcing. Interesting enough, Dow Jones just stay within this range, so we'll see. We definitely need a new high being broken for price to start shifting and going a little bit more to the upside. So we have this range created in here. That's basically where price has been trading today. Like just respecting this range in here. So we'll see. We do have that initial break to the upside, and we have the fake out. So we'll see which side is going to hold price at this point. Sometimes yes, you can find opportunities to trade within this range, and yeah, we did that. Today was a good day for you. And then DAX, like this is a trade. Yeah, this one was a bit disappointing for me. So that was the trade. We talked about this situation, like this was the drawing that I did yesterday, and actually delete that now. So I see this one as an engulf to downside. All right, so this is something that I was looking for in the beginning, initially, to actually as a starting point to look for a potential short. So that was the first point, like engulf to downside. Then I talked and I mentioned that there was maybe still some sell orders around this level, like I have this green mark in there. And then what I mentioned yesterday was that we were creating this interesting structure in here, like we were creating this level of resistance, is double topped in here, and price was basically trying to go there but still respecting it, which was most likely tracking more sell orders around this level. Like underneath this structure, many people were trying to sell in here, and all of a sudden there you go, right? Price this morning made the move to the upside. Now this was the PI that unfortunately, yeah, I was too late. I did try to place, let's see, 1 minute. Yeah, this is what happens with precision, not trying to be too precise, and not really getting filled, unfortunately. So I noticed also, and I should actually have traded straight away in there. I kept trying to just track price. I noticed the breakout to the downside in here. Again, this is actually one of my weak points in my trading. Sometimes it's trying to be precise, trying to actually time the entry so to the maximum that end up being out of the trade altogether. So I noticed also this break in here, and most likely initially I was looking even for a trade somewhere under the test of this level. Price starting to get closer to that level, and then I start tracking price 100 minutes, goes. Meanwhile, it starts creating these level tops. I wanted to actually to see just price reacting from here. Price broke that level, so I start to wait again. My price basically respected the level. Maybe there was already this break and I could have gone, but now we have this demand zone in there as well. So again, that continued to hold price. Then this was basically a little bit of the next level, but as you can see, price just starts moving upwards, respect. And yeah, I didn't actually pay attention to this one, and I should have placed a sell stop somewhere in here. That was my mistake. Because when I saw finally this move to downside, and I placed my order, yeah, I basically placed my order somewhere in here, and price just stopped in there. So yeah, I did end up missing this trade. Yeah, that was literally a mistake in here. It's going to be for my missing trade opportunities. Yeah, this actually was a good entry. In here was a good entry after price breaks this low in there. That's basically the level. Takes this demand, respects, goes, finally breaks this low. Yeah, that was a shift. Price still end up going there. And yeah, that would have been in trade. We have another engulf there. Price didn't really fill the range. So yeah, that was a mistake. And then yeah, and then price just starts moving to downside. And yeah, there could be maybe some other entries in here. Some people like to trade around this structure. I like to just trade the extremes and end up missing this trade. Yeah, target, definitely can see the possibility of actually DAX filling out this range in here. I totally understand if there's some reaction around this structure, but then I could see actually DAX eventually moving all the way down. If price protests one more time that level, basically you can see that there's still that level that I never got filled. It's still fresh, so if by any chance price wants to go there, there's maybe opportunity to go one more time into that level. But yeah, doesn't really need to at this point, to be honest. We may just create some kind of range at around this level now, and price just can create some kind of manipulation here and then just push the downside in there. As price gets in closer to this level, it increases the possibility for price actually to move further down and eventually break new lows and move further down. Tomorrow with the CPI in German, most likely we're going to have some volatility in here as well. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen in here. But yeah, that was predicted yesterday. End up not taking the trade. It's something that unfortunately it's still an issue, trying to look for a perfect entry. Sometimes I'm getting lucky, sometimes I don't get luck, and that's it. Actually, the trade on the euro pound, for example, I end up getting lucky on the entry because price made one last push to get me in, and then I was in. Right, and it was literally the last low that was created before price starting to move to the upside in there. All right, so again, I could still see, or I can see price moving a little bit further down in here. Again, by the chance price wants to go there, perhaps. I could see, all right, I could see price perhaps making a continuation to the downside in here. So we'll see what's going to happen. Bitcoin, okay, finding some level of resistance in here. Again, expectation is to see price moving to the upside. No chance I'll be shorting anything in here, and longing not exactly neither. And Ethereum may be a better trade at this point. Yeah, okay, nice reaction from that level. That was still fresh. But yeah, if price actually wants to make a new bull run from here, maybe Ethereum, because it's a little bit lower, maybe that's a better opportunity to look for a long. But of course, you still need to break slightly above this structure. Maybe there's an opportunity to look for a breakout of this, because this is a bit more in the middle. After the breakout, perhaps price can start filling the range to the upside without the need to have a deep retracement. So I'm also moving quite aggressively to the upside in here. Euro index continues. I just made that move to downside. The same on euro dollar, euro pound as well. Unfortunately, it was during this move that I got out of the trade, and euro pound actually euro dollar retested those lows and just moved to the upside. Again, nice reaction from still this structure. I could still see this euro index moving a little bit more to the upside, and maybe can actually target something higher. All right, so somewhere around that level, I could still see this euro index eventually moving towards there, and the yen index, which is still around this structure, so it kept respecting that level in here, and it's still respecting these lows. I wouldn't mind to see price maybe getting a little bit closer or lower, or kind of faking out this structure, still respecting perhaps this demand zone in there. All right, so price is reacting from the upper edge. Maybe there's that extreme a little bit further down that price could eventually go towards to. All right, so that could be an interesting potentially move in here. Again, you do have that small break to the upside. Price never really closed the gap in there. but now retested. So we'll see. Like I wouldn't mind at all to see a new low and then potentially the turn in here. Yeah, at least to close the gap. That could be something to look for. Yeah, we'll see. All right, individual currency pairs. Individual currency pairs. 1 second. Right, euro dollar. Like this was the move. So yeah, this is the engulf to the upside that I mentioned. I already mentioned this when it happened last week, and now price it managed to respect this level in here, and now it went all the way. I mentioned, I think, when this move was created, even last Thursday in here, that price didn't really go to the extreme of that level. I think I mentioned that part, that maybe there was still a little bit of a zone in here that price could still go and react from. As you can see, this low kind of paused in there, but the demand zone is kind of a little bit more into that zone, and that's basically where price ended up reacting today. So it managed to fake out this low, but then it just respected still the structure in there. It was a nice move. It ended up creating kind of a good PA as well in here as price was turning, and then the rest is history. Price just starting to move to the upside, and I do believe that this can be the low for now on the euro. All right, I do believe that this can be the low. For now, at least I would like to see a new highs being created, and eventually if price does want to, then can target a little bit of this one, but in that moment it will be more of as a double top, and you can maybe target this and potentially make another move like that. But for now, I would like to have a new high being created in here before these lows are challenged. So that's what I'm going to be expecting in here, and that's what I'm going to be looking for. So tomorrow I'm going to look for potentially a continuation in here to the upside, and eventually for price to actually break away from this level, potentially react from here, and then continue to the upside. So that will be a little bit more of the PA that I'm going to be looking for. If price does want to get closer one more time to this level, perhaps there's something below this low, somewhere around this level, that price can still go towards to or react from. Yeah, so that's definitely something that I'll be paying attention to. Yeah, I do think that euro dollar is ready to move to the upside. Yeah, so that has been our take. Again, great reaction from here, and yeah, looking for price eventually to continue move. Maybe we can create some kind of range in here tomorrow morning, and then just go. We'll see. Pound dollar, it was interesting, like that pound dollar actually managed to remain at around this level, while euro dollar actually made that move down and now is back basically close to that structure. Pound dollar just continues to be kind of within this range, but creating new highs. So it looks like that the low is also in place so far, or at this point. Again, from that level in there, price created that zone 2 type of a move that I really like he broke to the upside and fake out some structure in here, and now moving to the upside. Right, so that's interesting. Again, pound dollar actually at this point it can continue to move higher. I see this one as a move for this pound dollar to get a little bit closer into these two zones in there, but pound dollar actually could make one last push down, perhaps into something in here, or at least maybe something in there before moving to the upside. So that will be something to pay attention to. You could perhaps fake out all of this and react from something and go to the upside. So that I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, and if that happens, can be a good opportunity to look for longs as price is getting closer to this level after price continues to break new highs. So let's see if you're going to have one of those last push down before moving to the upside or not, or if price will just literally going to gain momentum from where it is right now. Yeah. So Rav, you trade pound dollar, right? What's your take? What do you think about pound dollar? If you are still there. Here, I mean. Euro pound, this is the one, man. Unfortunately, this is the one. Alright, so my entry was in there. Alright. Yeah, my entry was somewhere around this level. That was already on the 23rd of October. It made out that move to the upside, and then it becomes £0, right? And £0 means ranging market. So basically for 6 days, price has been ranging, and I was looking to see if price actually would eventually manage to break higher from here and move to the upside. And yeah, it retested one time that level. I was looking to see if price finally would go. It didn't, and there you go. Like now we are reacting from an okay level on the left side. All right, so we are reacting from here. It's not about the level to potentially look for a turn, but price can definitely even still create new lows before moving to the upside. So yeah, we will see. We'll see what's going to happen in here. Price is still respecting these lows, so yeah, something to bear in mind. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen in here on the £0. I'm not interested anymore in looking for any trades in here until price creates new structure. So yeah, that was my attempt. Now I'm not going to be involved in here until price creates new lows or goes a little bit lower before moving to the upside. Then yes, then maybe I can try to look for new longs. Aussie dollar continues this move to the downside. Like I really like it. I'm really loving it to see Aussie dollar moving down. However, unfortunately, because they're going to have CPI tonight at around, I don't know, 12:30, I can already see that I'm going to miss out on the move to the upside. Again, price has been compressing quite aggressively in here. So basically almost everything in here has been compressed on the way down, which means that eventually you can expect some kind of spike and price can turn. Now price is reacting from still around these lows in there, and perhaps price could even go a little bit lower before moving to the upside. So I hope it is at a good level tomorrow morning to potentially look for longs, and it doesn't really make the move to the upside without me. Maybe it can go all the way to that weekly level, which will take us into closer to here. We'll see. All right, we'll see. Definitely, we'll see what's going to happen. We do have some structure in here. We have this spike today with the news, but then price end up creating new lows. At this point, do we have any highs being broken? Like we have a few structures being broken, but in terms of highs, yeah, consider that one created. Yeah, maybe actually we are still missing a proper high being broken in here. So we had that one as well, until eventually we get closer and closer and closer for a potential turn. So that's definitely something that I'll be looking for in here on the Aussie dollar. So we may have one last move and eventually breaks, and something like that could happen, and it could be a good retracement from here, and that's exactly the trade I'm going to be looking for. We'll see if price eventually gets closer to this level in here as well or not. And then we can look at the other Aussie pairs and even New Zealand. All right, so New Zealand is also reacting from an interesting level at this point. Okay, still kind of within that level. I could still see New Zealand eventually getting a little bit lower, but he created a new low as well today. Like, and in here we actually start having some highs being broken. Again, it's another one with a strong trend line. It's another one that has been moving to downside quite aggressively as well in a compression way. You can see how price has been compressed, which means that eventually price can turn. But this level in here, at least on the higher time frame, is quite attractive, and price is starting to respect this zone in here. Again, another push up, price goes down, respect it. We created kind of a double bottom in here, which is interesting. Already have that break as well, so we start having that that behavior in here of price breaking to the upside. Now fake out the lows, and we'll see if tomorrow, or if this level actually keeps holding price and price moves to the upside. Okay, so that's something to bear in mind. Again, it's not my favorite where price is in here. I would definitely actually would prefer to see price going slightly lower, more into the structure in there before moving to the upside. But let's see if that's going to happen or not. I do like the approach. I like the approach a lot, not just on New Zealand, but also on the Aussie dollar. And then you can continue, like we can look at Euro Aussie, which most likely is filling out this compression as well until potentially gets closer to that level. And that's going to be another one that today or later on during the CPI, right, it's going to move quite nicely. Again, it's another one that has been moving in a really strong compression move in here. We did manage to break below that level, but just to respect straight away that demand zone. And price, as you can see, is compressing. So it's continuing to move to the upside, just the same way that it compressed in here to the downside. Now it's compressing to the upside in there, until eventually it's going to get to a good level where we are going to be looking for those potential reversals. Again, everything in here was compressed. Price could get a little bit closer to this extreme, or eventually even towards that level as well. So that's something to bear in mind in here. So where it go, and then again, let's see. I would love to see actually during the news one last push up or some kind of push down and then push up, and then around the US or the London Open, perhaps you could have the turn. Right, so we'll see if you do have that type of PA being created somewhere in here. Maybe with news again go down, then kind of eventually goes back in here, and then you may have the turn. We'll see. We'll see if that's going to happen or not. Even pound Aussie most likely is moving to the upside as well. And what a move. Yep, it's moving. All right, so just continuation in here as well. It's getting closer to that level, so we'll see as well what may happen. Yeah, a bit more in the bullish momentum. Great to see. And then we have also Aussie Yen, which is, yeah, Aussie Yen. Yeah, still within this range. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Again, still reacting from a good level on the left side. He's still respecting this structure. Already that high in there. So we'll see. Again, price respected really nicely that level. Then respected all the way back into this in here. We did manage to break below that low. So it may start open door to go further down. So yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. In here is another one that's starting to create more of a kind of a rectangle shape in here. So we'll see. We'll see if this goes to a turn or not. And this takes us into the yen pairs, with the dollar yen still reacting from around this level. Again, I'm looking for the dollar yen to get a little bit closer to that structure in there. So that's still a little bit my take, but I would like to see this dollar yen moving towards to before a turn. So we'll see if that's going to play out or not. More in the lower time frame, price created a double top at this point. So we'll see. Okay, we had the news a little bit. Price is now, yeah, price is now a little bit in the middle. Now that we have a double top in there, so we'll see what's going to happen in here. If we're going to have some kind of PI like that or not, that's something that I would like to see. A fake out of those double tops in there. And then you have Euro Yen, which is also still respecting this level. And you had a small fake out today, price which we just filled the range within this demand zone. And if the Yen index, well, if the Yen index by any chance is going to make that one extra low as I predicted before, then you're going to have all these yen pairs making one extra high. All right, and Euro Yen is still a little bit far away from the levels that I would like to. Okay, still within this level. Again, I would prefer to see it going a little bit closer to that zone in there. So Euro Yen is definitely still lagging a little bit in here. It didn't manage to break or to close this gap neither in here, so we'll see what's going to play out in here. And yes, we could have that that initial fake out in here and potentially move to downside. Again, everything in here is starting to be compressed. We have this level already reacted from. We have these levels we also already taking the orders from there. So that starts to be quite interesting and a potential short opportunity from this Euro Yen. And we have pound yen that actually managed to take that level, and they're looking for price to get a little bit closer into the next structure somewhere around there. So we'll see if that's going to play out as well or not. So price already kind of fake out, move to downside, and now starting to move a little bit to the upside again. So we'll see. All right. So pound yen looks a little bit more strong in here, but again, they're looking for price to get a little bit closer to that level. It can turn before that. It can definitely turn before that. Okay, it still has this zone in here as well. So yeah, but let's see what's going to happen on the pound yen. What CAD yen is doing. So CAD yen is back at the highs again, kept respecting this level, could continue to move a little bit more to the upside, to be honest. So that's another one that I'd like to see a little bit closer to the upside. It's compressing quite nicely, to be honest. So we'll see. Right, he kept respecting these highs, basically getting a double top at this point. So we'll see what's going to happen as well. And this takes us into CAD. Alright, let me just check Aussie CAD first. Yeah, Aussie CAD is reacting from this level. Okay. Nothing much. This takes us into dollar CAD. Again, dollar CAD is approaching this high. Right? But it's basically a level that we had, and price actually is reacting quite nicely from the lower edge of that level. I know where we are. We are here. And basically, price is reacting from the lower edge of this zone in here. And then it can even go slightly higher. So there you go, the reaction. Now it's actually moving to the downside. We had our first initial break of structure in here. Then price continued to move to the upside, just broke, respected the demand zone, and now moves to the upside in here as well. Again, I may not be the biggest fan of just this this spike in here. We'll be looking for shorts. We'll see. I'll need a little bit more structure here on the dollar card before actually jumping into any kind of shorts in there. Yeah, we'll see. You could, like, I like the PA. I like that price already broke that well. I like that price already took this demand zone. Maybe there's a little bit of structure in here to look for. This could actually have been a good entry on the test of this level. So yeah, we'll see what kind of PA we're going to have tomorrow morning, and maybe somewhere around here can actually be the high for now. We'll see. Like, if the dollar index is actually about to move to downside, maybe this can be a little bit of the top, and dollar card could also move to the downside in here. And we already had that initial break to the downside, so that's an important one that usually I like to see. So that's something important. Yeah, we'll see if we're going to have some kind of PA in here to push price lower. EuroCAD also continues, so there you go. Again, we are looking for EuroCAD to get a little bit more to the upside in here. We kept respecting these lows, so it could continue to go. Again, if we count this structure a little bit in there, it could go a little bit more to the upside, to be honest. So a little bit of the move I'll be waiting for. And then we have our pound card, which is also approaching these highs, right? So pound card has been quite bullish. You made that move to downside in here. You respected that demand zone. So there was no break to the downside in here, just respected. And now price is moving up again. And perhaps eventually price can even get a little bit more or closer to that structure, but we'll see. Right? Let's not disregard any potential shorts in here from this highs, even though, again, as I mentioned, it will be much better, just similar to the Nasdaq, if this actually would have managed to break this structure. Like, since it respected each of the extreme quite nicely, there's a high probability that eventually price can actually create a new high in there. But you can play a little bit around this previous level of structure, like there's maybe some kind of liquidity at around this level, just because of that high. Price is already playing a little bit with it, so that's something to bear in mind. Again, strong compression on the way up. As you can see, price basically, anytime it goes up, it goes down. Anytime it goes up, it goes down. So basically taking the orders all the way through, and we may have all this eventually structuring here to fill. Yeah, we will see. Of course, first we need this one in here as well to potentially look for downside. Looking into this level, so basically price is reacting a little bit from here. Yeah, could go. Yeah, that's not a bad supply, to be honest. Yeah, it could go a little bit higher. It could definitely go a little bit higher, but I like the way price is kind of ranging a little bit now. But could go a little bit higher, and in the event you can have a retracement as well, somewhere around this level, and potential continuation in here. Yeah, it could. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. Dollar franc Swiss, it continues to respect these highs, right? So I'm still looking for price to go a little bit more to the upside, right? Getting a little bit closer into that level, and eventually can even go above this high into this structure as well. So those are two levels that I'm going to be looking for, I've been waiting for, and price keeps respecting now this level, creating a double top in here, and looks like that maybe price may go in a little bit momentum. We did manage to break below this low, so yeah, they kept respecting it. I would love to see that high being faked out, and then price perhaps could move lower. So the bias is still the same, nothing has really changed in here, and then next level is a little bit higher. Gold with new all-time high, so we just continue. All right, so we talked about that one as well. Yeah, it continues to respect the structure. That was a nice low, and then price respected in here. Since then, just moving to the upside. So yeah, it's just continuation. We'll see until when. No point in fighting that. And silver also moving a little bit more. I'm looking for the silver actually to fake out these highs in here. Silver is at the okay level on the left side. Okay, it's approaching this level in there. So I'd like to see silver actually managing to create some kind of PA after taking these highs. Right, it looks like kind of a nice double top in there. We did manage to break below that low, basically, but prices respected really close to the previous level support resistance with this low, so we'll see. But I would like to see definitely silver maybe trying to short from here and then to make that final move and potential move to downside in here, even if it's just to range or to fill this range into that zone again. That's something I'll be looking for. And then we have oil, right? And in terms of oil in here, that's what we were looking as well. Like, so I mentioned that I was starting to look for potential longs on oil. I still haven't really seen the trigger. Again, price kept respecting this structure and it looks like it's creating a bit more of selling pressure in here. We still have that zone where price is reacting, and then you have the other one just below it, right? So that's still another level in there that we are looking for. So we'll see what kind of PI price is going to respect in here. Perhaps price can just respect this level. Totally okay if it does. All right, we actually start breaking a little bit this level. So if you do break above this structure in here, we may have price eventually moving to the upside again. We'll see how price may react and from that level, and to see if we are going to eventually break above this level, which eventually can lead into filling this gap in here that was created over the weekend. So that's a potential setup in here. All right, so again, two scenarios that you can have. Again, price can either keep respecting this level in here or eventually moving a little bit lower. So that's something to bear in mind. All right, so yeah, something like that could be a potential move, and if you do break above it, then you can have the continuation, or price can even go slightly lower below that low, and then start moving to the upside, using that low as a reference, as a left shoulder that could be used as a continuation to the upside in there. And Brent doing a little bit more of the same as well, so still respecting that level. In here now it looks almost as a double bottom as well. So yeah, you could have that fake out in here and then potentially price moving upwards. And you did manage to break a little bit above this level, even though just reacting from this next structure in here. So that's something that we need to bear in mind. So yeah, we'll see if price is ready to start moving a little bit higher or not. Again, I still like that level as well, so yeah, totally okay with whatever oil is going to do. Yeah, totally okay. Right. Yeah, looks like it's moving to the upside. Yeah, so that's basically it. Sort of, are you still there? Euro yen. Right, let's just recap everything. All right, so let's recap what we looked at today during this live stream, starting with the dollar, and in particular with the news that we had today. All right, so today we had the job openings, which was much lower than expected. It's actually the lowest number throughout this period that we starting to have this decline in the year. We are coming back into levels where we were pre-COVID, and at this point at 7.44, much lower than expected, and this can start to be a little bit of a alert to what we can expect eventually for NFP. Okay, so this is one of the first news that comes out in terms of labor market in the US. Tomorrow we have now ADP non-farm employment change, and then you have NFP on Friday. Tomorrow we're going to have also GDP in the US, so those are the two biggest catalysts that you can anticipate. We're going to have also news in Australia and CPI in Germany. So be aware of that in terms of looking for the opportunities that you can expect. And aside from that, you also have the earnings season, where you have the big tech announcing some earnings. Now, in terms of the dollar index, right? So this is something that we have been looking for. We mentioned that price didn't really manage to break these lows. We're looking for price to create new highs. I like the structure. I think the highs can be in place at this point. And tomorrow I'm going to be looking for price to start moving to the downside. All right, I'm looking for price eventually to... We can have some reaction from here, but eventually I would like to see price breaking this structure and moving to the downside. There's a zone left behind in here that could be retested eventually, for example, for the NFP, or maybe tomorrow even before the move to the downside. So price is reacting from that level on the left side that we have been waiting for. So that's totally okay with it, and I do like that level. On the euro dollar, as you know, price actually respected really nicely this low. Price had already broken a structure to the upside, so we were a little bit more bullish on euro dollar. No need to break new lows. On the dollar index, we're still looking for price to create new highs. Everything played out as accordingly today, and it looks like it's nice. It's creating a nice PA for price to move to the downside. Pound dollar didn't really move that much to the downside. It's just now creating new higher highs, which means that maybe the low is also in place. I'm just curious to see if the pound dollar is going to make that quick move down and up that maybe can create a new opportunity to look for longs. I see much more upside at this point on the pound dollar as well. Euro pound just retested the lows, and we'll see what's going to happen next. Then we have Aussie and New Zealand. And you can actually pay attention to the remaining of the Aussie pairs, because tomorrow we're going to have news in Australia, and price and Aussie dollar in particular is starting to, again, it's been moving to the downside in such a compression way that I'm looking for eventual price to turn. All right, and when it does, I'm expecting a good move to the upside that can again provide a great opportunity to look for longs. I'm just waiting for the right moment. Let's see if that happens tomorrow with the news as well. Hopefully price is not going to move away much, and it's still going to be tradable at around the London Open. And the opposite for Euro Aussie, for example, or Pound Aussie. New Zealand is also at an interesting level where you can start looking for longs, or perhaps you can have one extra low before moving to the upside. Then we look at the yen pairs, like, and in this particular case, price is still a little bit within this range. It's still at the level that I have been looking for, potentially for longs, and I wouldn't mind at all if we actually have a new low being created before price gaining momentum to the upside. We had our first slight break to the upside. We could fake out this low, and then price eventually could go. We have this interesting trend line, which eventually could be broken, and then price could move a little bit more to the upside, which means that we could have an extra high being created on dollar yen, euro yen, pound yen, and so on before a potentially move to the downside, right? So literally the opposite of what you are looking in here. And then you have the US indices. Basically, the S&P in this case just closed the gap over the weekend and is now approaching the highs, or kind of, it can retest the highs a little bit. I like a little bit of the shape in terms of a ranging market, which eventually can create some liquidity above the highs. So we can even fake out the highs and then start looking for sales again, or a potentially breakout. We'll see. On the other side, you have Nasdaq, which is literally approaching the all-time highs all the way back from July, right? So we'll see. Again, as I mentioned, and pay attention to that in the bigger picture, this low didn't really manage to break that level. So we already talked about that a few weeks ago or last week, where there's a high probability that we may have actually a new higher high being created before any potential move to the downside, right? Because actually these lows, they didn't really manage to break structure. So just as a traditional move, eventually we're going to have new all-time highs in here. It's a nice approach to where price is moving. We may have a little bit of volatility in here, but I wouldn't be surprised if you do have new all-time highs on the Nasdaq. Dow Jones is still kind of within this range. And then you have the DAX, which reacted perfectly from the move that we talked about yesterday. So if you guys managed to catch that move, perfect. It was exactly as predicted, with liquidity above this top and price still reacting from that level that was fresh, and we have this engulf to the downside in here. So we'll see if price now continues to move to the downside. That's kind of what I'll be looking for. And then you have Bitcoin, which is, if not, okay, it retested the all-time highs, which is interesting, and we can continue eventually to see this one. We'll see if we're going to find some kind of resistance in here, but I'm expecting Bitcoin to actually break all-time highs. Ethereum is still a little bit lagging in that regard, so there's still a lot of room to the upside in here on Ethereum. As when price may break these highs in here, we may have that breakout continuation setup on Ethereum. Can be a good opportunity to look for longs in that moment. What else? We have gold breaking all-time highs again, and then we have oil as well, which is continues to move a little bit more to the downside. So we'll see if there's going to be still opportunity to look for longs. I still like the level. I'm going to still be looking for the confirmation to potentially look for longs in here. Just one last point is in regards to the dollar CAD and the CAD pairs as well. The dollar CAD is approaching that high. It's starting to show a little bit of weakness, and I think we're going to continue to have opportunities to look for trades in both directions on the intraday level. We may continue to create new all-time highs, but I think the intraday, I think we can continue to look for shorts the same way that if you are still bullish and you expect price eventually to, I don't know, to perhaps break these highs, we can look for longs as well. So that's basically what I'm going to be looking for. I think the highs on the dollar are in place now and the lows are in place on euro dollar. So you can position yourself in that way and start looking for longs on euro dollar and perhaps the other dollar pairs as well. Indices, let's see how price behaves at around the highs, and oil, I'm going to continue to look for longs in there. So tomorrow in particular, I'm going to be looking for Aussie dollar if there's at a good level and Aussie pairs, New Zealand potential longs, euro and pound depending on the pair that we have. Look for longs as well, and oil is going to be on my radar, and potential shorts on the end pairs if we do have that extra leg that I just mentioned in here. With that being said, guys, thank you very much. Again, subscribe if you are new, and if you're getting value, put like as well. It will be, I would really appreciate that. And yeah, join me on my live streams. I stream every day at 7 p.m. so feel free to join me and to analyze the market together and find opportunities together to benefit from it. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Obrigado.